Let's try this again. Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the car. I'm here with the pups. We're heading to the park. And I want to talk real quick about Mark Carney, our Prime Minister. Meeting with Donald J. Trump earlier this week. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember. Anyway, he ostensibly kissed the ring. He went down there, was fawning, was complimentary to this threat to Canada. Apparently, it's interesting to see the Liberal voters who their prime reason for voting for Carney, as they were sold, is that he's the experienced national banker who can deal with Donald J. Trump. He knows how to deal with Donald J. Trump. Pierre Poilievre will just roll over if they vote for him, and we can't elect Pierre Poilievre because he's just like Trump. And what happens? Carney goes there, kisses the ring. Both of them are complimentary towards one another. It's interesting. I got a family member who's a diehard Liberal supporter, and we were talking about it briefly as we were parting ways the other day, and they said, "Yeah, I just noticed that he sits like a statesman and Donald Trump sits like a kid." I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I said I like how at the end where Donald Trump goes, "Never say never" when talking about Canada becoming part of the United States. And Carney's only response to that was saying, "Never, never, never." You've got no cards, as the man is fond of saying. You have no cards. And, the Bank of Canada comes out and basically says, yeah, so Canada's broke. We're insolvent. It's going to be rough. Maybe the only option for Canada is to basically become a vassal state of the United States. A vassal, a new part of the United States. Then people talk about that. Well, how can Canada, a population of 30 million, be one state, spread across the entire continent? Well, it wouldn't be. It would probably end up being, 5 or 6 states. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think, Alberta's probably going to separate. It won't be happening right away, but Alberta will separate in the next year and a half, 2 years maybe. Followed by Saskatchewan. Maybe they'll separate together, join the United States. Then I could see the East Coast provinces, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland and Labrador, all becoming, well, maybe not Labrador, but Newfoundland becoming part of the, New England portion of the United States, all joining in together to be the Nor'easters. And then BC might even join the United States. I mean, it would make sense, right? If Alberta and Saskatchewan both leave and join the United States, what interest is there in Vancouver or British Columbia staying part of Canada at that point? And Canada simply, at that point, just becomes the Laurentian area. It becomes, Ontario and Quebec, which, quite frankly, is more in keeping with history. Back in the day when the Revolutionary War broke out and the Loyalists went north, it was essentially Ontario, right? And not even all of Ontario, basically all the way up to Kingston, that were that was populated by Loyalists. The traditional Canada, or Upper Canada as it was Quebec and what we now have basically is Southern Ontario. So that would make sense if it returned to that. Basically, the people who were loyal to the crown, or against the U.S., the Ontarians and the Quebecers. I can see the Quebecers deciding to go their own way. I mean, they've been wanting to go their own way forever. So basically, Canada would be Ontario. The only part of the country that would be considered a country in and of itself would be Ontario. And it would probably be called New Laurentia. No, they won't take away the Native Canadian name, Ontario. But I would call it New Laurentia. Anyway, it's all speculation at this point. I just think it's very interesting that Mark Carney, this savior, this strong, economically minded person who is going to be strong enough and capable enough to take on Trump, goes down there and kisses the ring. Spends, minutes fawning over the guy, calling him a transformational figure, and how he's, protecting U.S. workers and protecting the world and bringing peace. And basically, he glad-handed him, and he not that I have any, quite frankly, everything he said about Trump was true, so I can't really get mad at the guy. I just think it's funny that the liberals, they don't see a problem with this. They're actually just making excuses for, well, he was the more statesman-like. Well, he's the mature person. Like, yeah, he's also the guy who's the weakest in this situation. It's like you're watching a boxing match against a guy who's fucking savage, who defeats all opponents, and Oxford rules boxer, who's very genteel and plays by the rules. So he may be the more disciplined fighter. He may be the more, what do you call it? Skilled. I wouldn't even say skilled. No, just the more, the boxer who plays by the rules, so to speak. Going up against a guy who just fucking obliterates him, because that's what's going to happen. If it ever came down to a conflict between the United States and Canada, I'm not talking about physical conflict, martial conflict. I'm talking about, intractable trade war, let's say. Canada's got nothing. We lose every fucking time. Pardon my French. But it is what it is. And here's the thing I've noticed about people who are, liberal voters, leftists. They will never recognize the hypocrisy. They will never recognize when their people do wrong, because at core they are tribalists. At core they're like, no, this is my team, and my team do or die. It doesn't matter if my team behaves in the most reprehensible ways. It doesn't matter if my team is involved in, serious crimes and malfeasance. They're better. They're just better because we're ideologically aligned. That's what it comes down to. They're never going to recognize that they made a mistake. They're never going to recognize that they're in the wrong. What are you going to do? It's democracy is an ass, as I like to say. Anyway, we're here at the park. Sorry for that muddled boxing reference. I don't know much about boxing, but I was trying to make a metaphor. Doesn't matter. Here at the park, Puppy's gonna start losing her mind in a minute, so I'm gonna end the video here. Tonight will be Casual AF over on Irving Twins channel. I hope you can all tune in. Should be a good time had by all. And yeah, take care. Bye-bye.